Hi, Joe.
Hi.
So, what we're going to be doing today is we're going to talk about some sight reading on pitched percussion, aka the keyboard instrument. So, there's a couple things we got to take into consideration with sight reading. Now, when you go ahead and sight read anything voice, or for euphonium related, or anything else you do musically, what are some things that you look at when you're about to sight read a piece for the first time?
Key signature. Let's see. Tempo. Meter. So like, time signature and all that.
Yeah.
And sort of related to that, I'll usually look at like what the subdivisions are, because sometimes things can be felt different ways. So it's sort of like what the overall feel of the measure is. Yeah, I think that's most of it. Oh, also, I said key, but
Yeah, you said key.
But when I'm doing voice, specifically if it's in major or minor,
Okay.
what probably is anyway,
Okay.
so I can use solfege
Yeah,
more
exactly. You're reading
accurately.
solfege. Yeah. Good. Those are all really important things to take into account, because just like in percussion, we have many of those things too, so we can transfer those over. We have a key signature. We have a tempo. Usually we have a feel what we're gonna go for. But another thing you want to keep in mind is range. What's the lowest note? What's the highest note? So let's take this. Let's look at a couple of these etudes real quick and see what we got. So you're gonna do it. You're familiar with the dead stroke exercise. So why don't you do a dead stroke on your lowest note, dead stroke on your highest note? Exactly. And you're gonna stand right between there, and that's gonna be your playing area for that whole song. That's awesome. Now we'll get to the song in a little bit. Another thing to keep in mind is dynamics too. Even though on a sight read, normally that's not one of the first things we nail if we're doing like a sight reading competition or like that, but that's always something really good to take into consideration if you can already get the notes. We got a crescendo there at the end too, so it's mostly piano and mezzo forte, which is really good to keep in mind. Another important thing is accents. We gotta see how many, yes, accents are important. What I meant to say was accidentals. We gotta see how many accidentals are present in the music. So, how many accidentals do you see?
How many different accidentals, or how many?
How many, the latter.
Okay. 5.
Yeah.
With one of them being sort of not necessarily an accidental that's actually changing anything, but more of a reminder of playing an F natural there, because it's not technically it's not.
Yeah,
the
pretty
same
much.
bar.
Yeah. It's okay. So here's one thing too, and you brought up a really good point about sight reading. I want to teach that I didn't teach before. So yeah, it's not easy. It's not easy. That's okay. You're human. That's gonna happen. One thing when you're sight reading, just keep going.
Yeah.
Just keep going. Just all sins are forgiven once you cross the bar line. Have you told you guys that one yet?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. All sins forgiven once you cross the bar line. I use that for everything now too.
Yeah.
After a few weeks of having the piece, then there's some things to keep that, there might be some issues, but the first time, you just keep that train rolling on. So, try that again. You want to be looking, your eyes need to be focused here on the music. It can't be here because then you can't look there at all.
Right.
So, one thing to do, you know where the notes are. We already figured out where the ranges are. There's going to be a couple accidentals we got to keep in mind. But as far as we can tell, the beauty of this is that's in C. In case we haven't figured that out yet, it is in C with a few accidentals.
Which also I definitely didn't read it right, because there is a C. It's not D to C, it's C to C.
Yeah. So keep in mind for patterns too. Do not stop, read with the metronome, and don't look away from the music. So keep that. Those are your next 3 things to think about when you're reviewing forward. Everything else was good. You did exactly what I asked for the first part. Now keep those things in mind. See if we made an improvement at all. You got there.
Eventually.
That was the cool thing. But what's one thing, maybe a certain phrase-related thing about the 13 that you're noticing? Do you know what I meant by that?
I think so.
Okay, maybe let me rephrase that. In terms of patterns, what do you see?
It's a lot of. So it starts on a note and then goes to the half step below it, back to the note, and then down. Or it moves it moves to a different note and then sort of repeats the same pattern for the first two measures anyway. Also, basically the whole thing is a quarter, 8, 8, quarter.
That was what I was looking for.
Yeah.
That's what I was looking for. The rhythmic pattern. That's something to look for. Now, you want to be careful with patterns because sometimes you can get stuck doing a pattern and it goes a way you don't want it to. Then, so if you rate, say I rate, so if you rate that on a 10 scale, how much better do you think you did from 12 to 13 on a sight read?
So like
in terms of progress, how you sight read 12 versus how you sight read 13.
I'd say like a 6 or 7. I think I did much better in terms of obviously not stopping because I tried my best not to.
Yeah.
I also, this is probably just because I just played, I also had much better luck hitting the right note when I wasn't looking directly down at it.
Yeah, exactly.
Which helped keep me on track much better.
Did you use that peripheral vision?
Yeah.
Good.
That was
Good,
also
good.
part of it, is I could kind of look at the sharp flat keys, the black keys,
Nice.
black keys up top, and try to think like where it is in reference to that, even though like can't see straight down what note exactly I'm hitting.
Yeah, it was much better this time, and I was able to keep track where you were. And you got a lot of notes right this time, too. And you know, sometimes too, if you got a little lost, you stopped for a second and got back on track with the metronome. That's very important, too, because sometimes we'll just easily get flustered and still keep playing and just not stop. So that was much better, too. Awesome.